Tästä.
Just näin. I think we are about to be rolling. Yep, it's day 2 of our Let's Land a Job December Madness extravaganza with Daniel, and my name is Saku, and Ant, how are you doing this morning?
It's much lighter outside than yesterday. I don't know how, but like
it makes a difference.
Yeah, maybe it's getting better.
Yeah. It's well, we've got another 2.5 weeks to go, into the darkness even more so. But after that, it's gonna get better.
Yeah.
Hey, yesterday we were talking about your or having a look on your background a little bit, and a little bit on your situation, what you're looking for, and then we had a look on your LinkedIn profile briefly, quite vague level, really, but as it is, these things are good to be on track. I really like the fact that when we discussed about these things, you went in and immediately did the updates. So that's very good. And yeah, I think we are quite clear on what we are going to be looking at when it comes to yourself and the role. So Google has gone all Christmassy.
Oh.
Exactly. Yeah, before jumping into, I have a tendency to be just kind of like going on this autopilot mode, and I could be, I don't know, dominating, taking over all the conversation, and which is not probably the whole point of it all. So before starting to, quite honestly speaking, starting from scratch when it comes to thinking about different jobs, different companies, and we talked about these smaller companies yesterday that that are doing website updates, website creations. You've got a couple of projects from the last couple of years in this field. What are your thoughts now on the sort of potential roles that you could be nailing in the next couple of coming weeks?
Good question in many ways. There is like kind of several different like main tracks in the like maybe web related stuff. One is like most or a big part of people go to focusing on backend stuff, like, but that's more like more distant to my current focus.
Yeah.
So more focused on the like visual side of things, and that also like rules certain types of companies out that mainly or only focus on some API stuff and backend integrations and stuff like that. So maybe focusing on a little bit smaller companies or larger companies that have like actually some focus on making like things look also usable.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, I really like the fact that you've been working in different roles, so so you have this little bit of a visual eye to these things as well, and I'm also thinking about kind of like more technically orientated marketing roles, for example, that would be dealing with companies, websites. Have you done search engine optimization or that type of martech things?
Well, I haven't actually been just in that role, but like I have been following those in the past, like I don't know, 15 years or something.
Yeah.
So a bit, but like Actually, I was in one company that was largely doing that in the past, but I was doing different things there. So mostly building their own website. Most of the other people were doing like keyword based like marketing stuff and automation stuff.
Yeah.
But like they were not developers, they were like more business people.
Yeah, makes sense. What's the just to be clear, have you been doing that stuff, not with that title, but in a professional context?
Not really, like not
Okay.
that deeply, but I have been maybe a bit closer to the technical side of search engine optimization. Basically, making websites less horrible from the viewpoint of like both search engines and real people.
Yeah.
Kind of accessibility is kind of linked to that because search engine is basically looking similarly than some of the accessibility technologies.
Yeah, exactly. All right. I think you have such a setting that you could be doing a lot of different stuff. You're a sort of you're knowledgeable in many different fields, but because of you haven't got accumulated a lot of work experience, you are not perceived as a master of something. So I think we need to be sort of thinking about those roles that could be touching upon exactly your sort of background when it is kind of like this, more all-encompassing role. I think as being one option, and then the other one being the said what we talked about, and you mentioned the sort of e-com related sort of or website development related small companies.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of doing a lot of applications, kind of like kind of like random applications, yeah. But what I'm thinking is that it's never a bad idea just to be having a look on the what types of titles come up with when having a look, and then what types of companies especially we come up with, and
I think
go ahead.
the search is actually searching for all developers. On web, it's not web developer. It's probably should be quotes like in.
True. Yeah, and I'm sort of thinking also, is web the right term to use? Where do you live, by the way?
Helsinki. So
yeah,
maybe Uusimaa, Helsinki.
Yeah, I think the metropolitan. Yeah.
All right. Instantly, it's much more accurate when like it's in quotes.
Yeah. No, I agree.
But yeah,
I think these have a lot of the time, when there's the senior mindset, and I know that, a lot of the companies, they like to have somebody on board, who doesn't need much of intro, yada. But these are the roles that can be quite easily kind of like ruled out. But I'm sort of thinking just.
But it's also like it's more like it depends on the company.
Yeah.
Well, like more it's that person knows enough of the concept that can have like that can understand the whole kind of what they are dealing with, even if they don't know the exact deep details about the tools, because tools can be learned, but it takes time to understand the like what's related to each other.
Yeah, exactly. I'll just do this. It's been a while since I've been using a Finnish, now living in Sweden, Finnish job board. Just curious. what types of roles, what types of companies we come up with, not really having a particular thought that we would be.
Problem with
this is,
yeah.
Go ahead.
Like there was like DevOps engineers. Those are mostly like infrastructure and backend, so it's not right. But like for example, let's look at that one. Let's see what's kind of like things are there. This is also good, like what things people focus on. Scrolling bit down, there's there it's more like
energy management system.
React Redux. It's more probably more focused on the like engineering side of like.
Yeah.
So it's less focused on the like. Yeah, it's kind of like I understand that like what they're dealing with, but it's not my core skills. I'm more like those are like the pipe engineers, and I'm the one who paints on top of it.
Yeah. No, I think it makes sense. It makes full sense. Let me just check if we do something like well, front end even is, but let's just try. I don't know how they. Oh, let's just have a look. I'm just playing with it.
But that's more already more like a clear like search results in ways.
Yeah, it's true. Well, this is interesting. Academic work doing recruitment for Soltech. Soltech is an e-com company, I think.
Yeah, I think it's quite big.
Yeah,
focused on Microsoft stuff.
Yeah,
but this is kind of similar than the previous. So, but let's look at the years, and if you scroll a bit up, I think they were also requiring. Okay, so basically they require like the education for. Well, I do have education, but like different kinds.
Yeah, but I wouldn't.
Yeah, but it's those are mostly like what they wish for in most companies. There are some exceptions. Some companies are actually regulated that they have to have certain certifications and stuff like that. But like that's kind of different.
Yeah. What about this? We presume you have experience from one of the following, for example, backend or front end. Well, HTML/CSS, JavaScript, jQuery. You've got at least this.
Yeah, well, I have been using like that and JavaScript too, but I think a bit of TypeScript too. But like, while I do get some of the things, for example, Angular and I've studied also SQL stuff like that. But that's also more like focusing on the data handling and stuff like that instead of like. But yeah, I can work with people and work with part of those, but it's kind of that's been it's a challenge because I'm not fully or fully like visual like a graphic designer, but it's more like visual designer that does web. That's kind of like I have been trying to like learn more of the like backend stuff and stuff, things like related to that, but like it's much slower to learn alone instead of being part of a team.
Yeah. I fully agree. We need to have a look on in a moment on your portfolio. I think it would be, or then on Monday. But I'm thinking about the companies. The Soltech is already a bit of a, it's kind of like directing us to the right direction. I think what go ahead in a moment. What I tend to do is kind of like sometimes I just I Google the words when I try to understand, where to find, a particular type of a job environment or such like. So for example, what's the service that you would be providing or helping the company to provide? That's the website design and creation. So in Finnish, verkkosivujen, what's the word? uudistaminen.
Maybe that like renewing websites.
Exactly. And so then the companies that are spending money on this, on this, area that they get their,
basically advertising on search results. So
exactly. So these are, from my point of view, companies that you should consider checking out, and because they're selling, and when they're selling, it means that I'm sure they are also thinking about hiring. Let's check these 4 just to get some food for thought. So Kokku, that's one.
I haven't heard of the name, but I have seen some of the websites they have built.
Yeah, I bet me a second. Kokku liikevaihto, that's the revenue. What size is the company? I'm thinking about, again, I think this is good size. This is what we've been talking about. We are seeing, 7 people quite solidly working there. And it's obvious that their business is not exactly flying, but they've recovered from the early point of COVID. So how I see this, kind of like how to go about, we see here, okay, Jonathan Aurum is the dude in charge. So then I would do this, and again, this is not by any means perfect.
Yeah, just looking at the background of the company.
Yeah, and then Jonathan Aurum. That's the guy. Kokku. Cool. So what's his story? I'm just thinking. I like this. I think it matches with you.
Yeah, but like.
And the reason why I'm thinking about this is that it's just one of those things that I would, if I were you, I would send a message to this guy. Click here, connect, and then add a connection invitation, something like, hey, thinking about new job. I'm interested, I have experience and interest in the fields of design and UI UX or UI design and website creation. Do you need any help? Something like that.
Yeah.
And it's kind of one of those things. It's they are that sized company that they're not going to be hiring a massive recruitment campaign or something, but with you describing where you're at, how many hours can you be doing, and that you're willing to learn and helping with this and this and this, I think you're in an excellent position to sort of start having a conversation, a dialogue with the guy. And of course, you referring to to the revenue numbers allows you then to have a discussion about, hey, what's the business like? If they're doing badly, for example, then of course you're not pushing it, kind of like, hey, of course I understand and all the rest of it, but it's kind of like to start a conversation. I think it's crucial.
And it's also good for like since it's also good for like them to like know more about like what's happening in the market. So also because I have been also following other companies a bit, so it's always some good like the like network in the industry in some way.
Exactly. What about this? There's this Digiteam. I'm sort of thinking. I'm checking these references. Would this be a potential company for you to reach out?
I
think it's a little bit. It's a little bit more on the marketing side.
Yeah, and it's like it feels a bit dry. It's more corporate focused. Plus, those references are more like kind of like it's well, it look like they stuck like WordPress plugins and automation and stuff like that to existing sites instead of building from scratch. The site itself looks like that.
Yeah, makes
but
sense.
it's like there's place for that kind of things, but it's not custom.
Yeah.
This is, for example, compared to this is like much more custom made to the company itself. There's quite big difference, and it also tells the potential people applying that like they actually do custom stuff, not just like customize existing.
Yeah, exactly. Let's have a look. I'll just check. I've heard of Lohos. So what I'll do is Lohos liikevaihto revenue. What sized company? Oh, they're in Turku. But then again, I think, you know, these things can be done remotely as well. Oh, they've been doing well over the past couple of years.
Just a little bit minus at last year.
Yeah. In terms of growth, but you can tell that they've been investing into new people. 13, 23, 31.
That's actually quite much of growth in few years.
Yeah. Iiro Junnila, let's have a look. So you've got Jonathan Aron to reach out. And let's have a look. Oh, that's a kiinnostaa. Oh no, I made a video a couple of years ago with what's his name? A guy from Spain, and I was asking. We were talking about learning the Finnish language, and I was asking then what's his favorite phrase in Finnish, and he said "kiviäkin kiinnostaa," and we were really struggling to interpret that. You know, even the rocks, even the stones care about the topic, i.e., not really.
Yeah, it's kind of funny.
Yeah. All right. So Viestintäliiga and Whitestone, they've been merged.
But it's a 21 years old company in total. So it's quite.
So what they do, it's tailor-made software, B2B ordering systems and integrations, digital marketing. We form the strategy and the look. I'm thinking you could have a good angle to reach out, because you know you are interested in these two areas. I think there's a lot to be learned, but I'm sort of thinking that I think it might be a good idea for you to reach out. There's always a good conversation to be had, if nothing else.
At least they have been thinking a bit more about marketing, since they have the stones are interested.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good phrase. And another from Turku. What's the trouble? What's the problem? Why they're so active? Why are the Helsinki companies? Are they trying to take over?
Well,
look at this. They've come up with a SaaS model.
Yeah.
I like this. I like this mindset. Hey, let's have a look on.
They are actually focusing on the low end like customers, since the pricing scale for website projects is like often starts from like, I don't know, 3,000 to 5,000 is like minimal project for Helsinki-based companies. Like very minimal, no customization. Basically, just taking existing team, a little bit visual customization, putting content, a bit of like helping about maybe some marketing stuff. But it's like under 5,000 in Helsinki, you can't get much of service as a customer.
Yeah, exactly. Then there's this Sivustamo. Yeah, indeed, their figures. So they're quite stable. They haven't been growing in a similar fashion. Small number of people. I think with these people, it's all about this sized companies. It's all about the conversation that you have and the sort of the mentality that you need to be all about the business. Where is, they can't be even considering hiring if they don't have new projects coming in and all the rest of it. So the more interested you are when reaching out in that side of things, the more relevant the discussion, and Arto, let me check. The better the potential is for you to sort of be having a chat that, hey, how about having a part-time coder or whatever, from Helsinki.
But there's also bigger risk for potential, also for a potential job seeker or potential employee, because there's especially lots of the web projects are in marketing budget, and when it gets bad financially, in the ecosystem, then marketing is one of the often, at least for smaller companies, marketing gets cut first.
Yeah. Excuse me. Yeah, true. But then I disagree with the e-com side when it's when marketing and e-com match, it's all about the investment and the company to grow. But I see your point, and I do agree. And then if you I don't know how you feel about it, but I would be, if I were reaching out to him as well with a similar mindset. And then I had a chat recently with this guy. I just happen to know that he's been working with a number of companies recently, from Tieto and all the rest of it. He's been doing a lot of e-com related stuff. He's super expert, and I think if nothing else, you can always have a chat. And so he started the work as an entrepreneur. So kind of like, where I look at it, he's kind of like 5 years behind the three companies we had a look at, and it might be that it's definitely not a chance for him to be even considering hiring you or anything, providing any gigs or anything like that. But at the same time, he's new in the business. He's thinking about how to go about and all the rest of it. And I think you share a little bit of a similar situation, in terms of the dynamics that you're facing. Hey, which companies, which opportunities to seek out, and all the rest of it. He's doing the same, but then as an entrepreneur for himself and all the rest of it. So
but it's all about finding what's finding what are the needs, even for him and quite many others, who either are smaller companies that have to find new projects so the company stays alive, or are freelancers that are one man it shows that go to help other companies.
Exactly. But I would, at this point, I would not start throwing out applications. I would start reaching out to these individuals. I think a LinkedIn connection invite with a nice message, something like, hey, design-oriented web developer here. Hello. Thinking about new projects and where can I help? Had a look on your company, looks interesting. Care to have a chat or something like that.
That's
and then LinkedIn.
Reasonable. And generally, even if they don't have it's always good to be connected, because things change quite fast. And if they get big project, and suddenly they need people to help.
Exactly. And then you can always ask, kind of like, to finish the conversation with, if there's a brief chatting taking place or something, that, hey, do you come up with a name or two that I should reach out? And because after you've created a bit of a trust, you're able to potentially, they might say that, sorry, busy at the moment, but speak to you later. You might not hear from the person again, or then you might, and it can make a world of difference.
And it's also people know other companies that do stuff, because they have friends who have companies and stuff like that.
Exactly. But I think this is us for today.
Yeah.
And we'll carry on Monday, and we yeah, we can think about, what's the focus then. I think I would be loving to hear, if you reached out to them and, what was the conversation taking place, and then thinking about what to do next. But it's one of those things. I have this mentality that when thinking about new potential jobs, and doing it like this, it's kind of like 1 out of 10 is already the ratio that there might be a situation that you end up having further discussions, and then you end up collaborating. So I don't think it takes that many, if there's a bit of luck involved and all the rest of it.
Yeah, but
But
at least like that's good like process for figuring out how to like build new connections to new people that might have something interesting.
exactly, and be super transparent about, you've been doing this, you've been doing that, you need more experience in this and that, but I'm super, that you're keen on learning, because that's the
Yeah.
biggest thing. You're keen on learning, and that's what people appreciate.
Yeah, and like
Perfect.
thanks for the good tips again.
No problem. No problem. This is great, and
Yeah.
I love the fact that we are so openly discussing about this, because it's the same sort of thinking process that applies to a lot of different contexts. They might
Yeah.
not be in web development, they might be, in sales, or they might be doing engineering or something else, but it's the
Yeah.
same logic. It's the same logic, understanding what's the employer's problem, what's their
Yeah.
situation, and how can one be sort of have a meaningful conversation with the people in the hiring positions. That's kind of like in essence,
Yeah,
what I try to.
it's similar also for recruiter trying to figure out like I need people. Where are people? What are people doing?
Exactly. What are they interested in having a chat about?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But let's look again in Monday and see
Yes.
you then.
Exactly. Have a nice weekend.
Yeah, thank you. See you
Many
later.
thanks. See you later. And then we press stop recording, and then it takes a while. So have a